Joining me now is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Governor, good to have you back in the show. My audience adores having you on. I appreciate you taking time out for us. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, a lot of things, but one of the things that's kind of pressing, yesterday, Governor Jay Inslee, Washington State Governor, signed an assault weapons ban that a lot of people on the right, a lot of conservatives, a lot of Second Amendment advocates like ourselves, I assume you're in the same camp, find it wide-reaching, overly wide-reaching, where it may actually take our constitutional right to bear arms out of our hands, including, rifles and sometimes even handguns, firearms.
Yeah, what's interesting, Eric, is that these things don't happen by accident. Any executive order that gets done by a governor is extremely vetted by attorneys. They put some thought into this. I would say that executive order is guaranteed to try to take away people's Second Amendment rights. So we all know that Inslee is one of those left-leaning socialist governors that oppresses his people. That's just not our story here in South Dakota. So I'm proud that we're the most Second Amendment state in the country. It doesn't cost anybody anything to exercise their rights here in South Dakota. I signed constitutional carry, waived all fees for any kind of permit. I even pay for the federal background check for folks if they want to exercise their Second Amendment rights. So exact opposite of what's going on in Washington State, and I would say our people are benefiting from it. We've got the best economy, income's going up faster than anywhere else, and people are moving here by the thousands.
And Governor, we're going to get to the amazing successes you're having in the state, the economic successes you're having in the state. But, I live down here in I would say the freest state in the union, Florida. Governor DeSantis did sign constitutional carry into law in the last couple of months. You have it. Now, tell me about this you took it one step further. This is fascinating to me.
Well, we have defended our Second Amendment rights here in many, many ways. I also just signed an executive order that said the state would no longer do businesses with banks or financial institutions that discriminated against our gun industry, that discriminated against those who would be in the gun business or ammunition business, recognizing that that is something they're doing to push an agenda. So our state and that will continue to lead by example. And we have broken records in the amount of people that have moved to South Dakota, and they've moved here because they know that we value their Bill of Rights, that we value our Constitution, and that we live by it. So we've led by example, and I think that's inspirational to people. A lot of times you turn on the news these days, all you hear is bad news, what's going wrong in this country. People need a little hope. They need to know that somewhere conservative policies work and bring freedom and joy and hope, and that's South Dakota.
Yeah, and so some of your other conservative policies, and we've been talking about this a lot lately with the Bud Light controversy, using the trans dude to sell Bud Light. He acts like a 12-year-old girl, insane. But you are protecting women's rights in sports, and I think the reason why this is important, and I keep telling our audience, the reason why it matters is because if the left wins the culture war, politics is downstream from culture. They will win the policy, the legislative policy war downstream. But you're fighting back. Tell us how.
Oh, absolutely. And for us in South Dakota, we're fighting for fairness for women, especially in girls' sports. We signed the strongest bill in the nation to protect girls' sports, believing that women deserve to have a level playing field, the ability to compete and to experience success. And listen, when they are pushing policies and agendas from the left, like we've seen, it's to try to take over the minds and the hearts of our next generation that will inherit the United States of America. But what they're doing now is fundamentally choosing winners and losers and deciding who gets to benefit and who doesn't and who should be punished. And those people who get up and work hard every single day and live by the values that this country was founded on are being punished by Joe Biden and the White House. They're pushing these through their political platform, but also through their policies. And we as governors every day make dozens and dozens of decisions in our agencies and departments that have to defend conservative policies. And all you have to do is look from state to state to see that the conservative states, the ones that have Republican governors, they're the ones who are doing better. People are happier. Suicide rates and mental health rates are going down. People are thriving and living with more freedom because that truly is how this country was originated, was that personal responsibility would be a priority.
Now, in Joe Biden's 2024 request to reelect him in his video. He said, let's finish the job we started. I'm laughing because I put this out on Twitter. Name one thing that they've done. Name one accomplishment that Joe Biden has done that was positive for the country. And you really literally can't. You're doing something great in the state with your low unemployment. But before we get to that, Biden has this policy, this thing he's trying to push through, and it has to do with your credit score. It kind of fell under the radar with the big Fox Tucker news. But what he's trying to do is if you have a low credit score, let's say you have a 620 credit score, you will save around $6,000 on a home loan at closing. Save. And to finance that, if you have a high credit score at 740, it's going to cost you $400 or $500 additional on your home loan closing costs. Now, where in the world does he think this would work, where you take successful people doing the right thing, punish them, and reward the people failing? Thoughts?
Well, he's using it to push an agenda of racism, to divide the country, and he's continuing to do that through several different policies that he's pursuing. But this housing one is just the latest example of him going after hardworking Americans that work very hard to do the responsible thing, to take care of their families, make good decisions, and he's rewarding those that maybe are in a very different situation. So, yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise. I'll be honest with you. I think that announcement video for president that he released was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was so dark and depressing and strange. I just don't see how that will inspire people. And, you know, it's strange to me that he wrapped his arms around the word freedom because his policies since he's been president have been only to enslave the American people to his big, huge, overbearing federal government.
Yeah, can't be finished what they started, continue to bankrupt the country. Governor, any interest? Listen, the 2024 cycle is heating up. Presidential cycle is heating up. You know, a lot of people talk about Governor Noem as a VP, but a lot of people like me see someone I'm looking at on the screen right there who could easily occupy the top spot too. What your thoughts on 2024 presidential election? Are you going to throw your hat in? If you do so, when would that come?
Oh, you know, that's the problem with this time of year right now is that a lot of talking going on. There's very few people doing. I guess what I would encourage people to do is as they're looking at presidential candidates and going through this process is really examine what our leaders in this country have done. What policies have they put in place? Are they giving press conferences and traveling around and talking a lot, or did they actually do something that made your life better? So I think there's plenty of time to continue having that conversation in the next many, many months, but America can't afford to get somebody in the White House that just divides us, talks a lot, and doesn't actually do something that's good for our families.
Okay, but I'd kill myself if I didn't ask you this. You haven't ruled out a presidential run for 24. Is that accurate?
You know, I think that's accurate. I'm really focused in South Dakota. We've got a lot of good things to do, and that's my priority. So, you know, I think that this country, there's a lot of people running for president right now. I'm looking for one that I could support. You know, obviously President Trump's policies were fantastic for South Dakota, and I appreciate his leadership. You know, we really have an important decision ahead of us, and I hope everybody's taking this as seriously as all the decisions that I've got in front of me. I hope everybody else is taking them seriously as well.
And we are as well, and we're thankful you're joining us as well on The Balance. Thank you so much, Governor Kristi Noem.
Thank you.